Hello, horror people. Welcome to Death by Podcast, episode 74, the greatest horror movie extravaganza you've ever been to. Man, I don't know what's going on in the background, man. I put X-Files on just like in the background, and it's all bloody and weird. We should do an episode of X-Files for Patreon sometime. You think?
Yeah, sure.
That'd be fun.
I used to love the X-Files.
It's great. I'm your host, Adam, by the way. That's your other host,
Kevin.
So like I said, episode 74. That means we got 75 next week, man. That's a good one. That's a good milestone. You got your movie picked out for next week?
I have 3 different candidates.
3 options. Okay.
Yeah.
So that means it'll be a good one. Maybe, man, I would love to get damn Wolfgang on the show, but he's literally, I don't know. He's just inaccessible.
He's in
Maybe, I don't know. We'll talk. I need a strong on my brother or something like that. But speaking of Patreon, we just wrapped that up, and this week we watched the new Gremlins Secret of the Mogwai.
Secret of the Mogwai.
We watched the first 2 episodes. It's on HBO Max. Entertaining, got some holes, not perfect, but it's just it's if you got kids, sit them down and watch some Gremlin stuff. I think it works because
my kid, they were paying attention to it for about five not 10 minutes, but they were.
Yeah. Have you showed them the Gremlins movies?
Yeah, like they know what they are, and like if I put it on, I'm like, who is that? They'll be like, that's Gizmo. They have a Gizmo doll.
Okay.
They know what the Gremlins are. Yeah, they're real into real Ghostbusters right now.
You mentioned that. I've been watching that too. It's weird, coincidental. Which episode? I watched oh man, it was some season 5 stuff. I had never seen that far.
Yeah. What's funny is so they've got the different theme songs, and my son prefers like the second theme song, the one that's like when they change the Slimer in the real Ghostbusters.
Right.
And like he knows right away if it's like this is the wrong one. But he's seen a bunch. Like I don't know, we've probably watched 10 different episodes in the last week.
Really? That's awesome.
Yeah.
You watching them on Saturday morning?
No, we're watching whenever they fucking yell Ghostbusters at me.
That's awesome. This week though, Kevin.
Yep.
Without giving anything away, we for the letter what letter? J. I had the letter J. I chose a little follow-up from previous season, I guess last season. Jack Frost 2, Revenge of the Mutant Killer Snowman. So we're gonna be talking about that later, but before we get there, I got 2 announcements before you get into the news.
Sure.
Okay? One announcement is this Friday at Toy du Jour. If you're local in Chicago, my good friend Dan Polydoris from Death by Toys, not to be confused with the podcast you're listening to, Death by Podcast. He's one of my good friends. He's a fellow toy maker, and he's got an art show, toy show at Toy du Jour in Logan Square, Chicago. I'll be there. Kevin might be there. I'm gonna be showing my support, saying good things. Dan's got a bunch of unique pieces that he made for the show that look really cool, and it's all pretty much all he's a horror aficionado, so there's a big horror theme to a lot of his toys. So check that out. It's free show, free to get in. He's gonna be selling stuff. You can pick up some really cool toys that he makes, and that I actually help make for him. The other announcement is in 3 Fridays, so not this Friday, but in 3 Fridays. That would be June 16th. Another local event at the Music Box Theater, correct?
Yep.
What neighborhood would you call that? That's Wrigleyville?
No, I wouldn't call it Music Box. Maybe. I'm not sure.
Anyway, it's over there. It's on Southport. If you're local, again, Killer Clowns from Outer Space at the Music Box. I think the show starts at 10, but I think at 8 they're doing like festivities and
there's going to be a bunch of crap and a bunch of vendors and a celebration of
it's not
a kick-ass movie.
It's not like an anniversary, is it, or something?
I don't think so.
Is it Mike Tobacco's birthday or something?
No, they've been doing horror movies like every day for the past like month. It seems
really?
Like, yeah,
they do that often. What did I see there? I saw Possession. Did you ever see Possession?
Yeah,
with Sam Neill.
Oh no, I didn't. I saw a Possessor.
No, okay, dude. If I have pee,
Yeah, I've heard it's like pretty awesome.
We're gonna watch that. I don't know what to say about it. It's bananas. I can't
Everybody
believe
says.
I can't believe that I've seen it twice. I saw it at the Music Box, and then Joe Bob had it on the last drive-in a couple weeks ago, which was cool because he always gives backstory. But anyway, Killer Clowns from Outer Space, June 16th. Kevin and I will be there. We both bought our tickets. We have our tickets in hand or virtually in hand. We're gonna be handing out stickers and hanging out in the crowd, um, doing cool stuff. So come see that. Come see us. Come hang out. Other than that, what do you got for news, Kevin?
Bunch of little news.
Bunch of little news.
One brand new breaking news.
Ooh.
It's only a few hours old.
Exclusive.
Uh, Terrifier 3 has been announced.
I saw that. Jesus Christ.
No,
Of
no release date. They just said that it's going to be crazier than 2. That was basically
course. Of
in the
course.
statement.
Of all things, I got that alert on a comic book app that I subscribe to. I'm like, really, man? I don't know.
I mean, it makes me want to check it out. Like, all right, Mel, maybe there's something to these.
Why I want you to watch, but you got to watch the whatever anthology it was that he first appeared in. It's a little story in the bigger movie, and then watch one so that you can see the escalation.
Okay.
All right, if you choose to do that. But I do not recommend these movies. Just I'm saying that, okay? But you might
other little bit of news that we were just talking about recently. Black Mirror season 6 is starting up on June 15th.
That's awesome.
Yeah, next week.
I might be behind on a season, I think.
I did the virtual reality thing.
I did not do that.
Not the VR, the
choose
your own adventure game. I did that. I did last season I thought was a little hit or miss.
Really?
But I think last season had the Star Trek episode, which was awesome.
No, I know which one you're talking about with Matt Damon lookalike.
Yeah.
That was a couple seasons ago. That was a couple seasons ago, I think.
Could be. But yeah, anyway, that's starting up on June 15th, so that'll be cool. That'll be fun to do for
Yeah. Is that Netflix?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I would definitely. We've never done Black Mirror. That would be cool.
Yeah, that would be cool. And then there's the new, this isn't really horror, but the new Ninja Turtles trailer came out today.
Is it the animated one?
Yeah. And that's I don't know about this one.
Talk about weird animation.
Yeah, it is. It's super stylized. It's like, and you know what? And I hate to be so like petty, but if they didn't do that like bandana mask on Raph and they didn't put glasses on Don, I think I'd be like 100% on board.
Really?
I hate glasses on Don. It drives me. Both of those things, like going in when they were talking, before they had released anything.
Yeah.
I remember I said that was like, those are the two things I don't want, like just on a surface level. Because I just think the bandana looks like shit, and they always put it on, and it looks so dumb.
It's too on the nose and it's stereotype.
Like,
it's a stereotype.
Why? Well, how is it a stereotype?
It's because he's a tough guy. He wears a bandana, just like
I guess. Yeah,
Donatello's a nerd, so he's got to have glasses.
That's what drives me crazy. Is that he's smart, so he has to have glasses. That makes no sense.
Yeah,
and it'd be one thing if he always had glasses, but it's only in the dumb versions,
right?
That he has glasses.
To me, man, everything's been dumb since the second movie.
You know what? The 2003 series is pretty good.
Is it?
I didn't see the like 3D animated series, but people swear by that one.
Yeah, but what people are they? The Cowabunga people? Or are they
the people that grew up with that series? Like my cousin is like, that's the one. I'm like,
really?
Okay. I mean, but yeah, they're I don't know anybody that has seen Rise, which is the new show where they're all different kinds of turtles but yeah, man, there seems to be, I don't know, it'll be interesting.
The first trailer that came out like a month ago or something, I couldn't finish. The animation was just too ADD. It was like it's one thing to like struggle with ADD and not be able to focus on stuff, but if you're making a stylized type of style of or type of animation that is like
Yeah.
almost geared towards that, I feel like
Well,
not the
like
right thing to do.
it
I
we
feel
were
like
talking about
that's
this on
wrong.
we were talking about this on the Patreon, and like, I loved Spider-Verse, but it worked for that, and now it seems like, everything's gonna look like that for a while.
Right.
But they did the uh like, okay, how like Kingpin looks in Spider-Verse?
Yeah.
How he's just like, he look like he's cool looking, and he looks like a graffiti you know what I mean? Like, and it kind of works. It works just enough. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? For
Yeah.
that movie.
Yeah.
Like Bebop and Rocksteady are like that on steroids. Like Rocksteady's head is bigger than his entire body.
Really.
It does. Yeah.
For
It
this
looks.
for the new one.
Yeah, and it looks like Clone Wars style drawing. Like, at least not the turtles themselves, but I don't know, man.
Their voices. I was just like, what is this? Like,
I didn't mind the voices because, like, I like the idea that it's like, okay, they're teenagers. They're like, like, okay, but I don't know. I don't know about it. So we'll see. I don't know. I just
yeah,
want a fucking live action. Like, everybody agrees that
I know.
when it was at its peak,
I know.
like, why can't we just do that?
Because times are different, kids are different, and the audience for that is shrinking.
I
We
guess, but like I thought about this with GI Joe. Like, when they made the GI Joe movie, like, there's a GI Joe movie in my head. Now I don't know. I don't have like a script or anything that would make $1 billion. You
yeah,
know what I mean?
GI
Like,
Joe's a little different. I think I don't know. I
but
mean,
like, you do a GI Joe movie with like a core set of GI Joes. You do like Cobra Commander, how you're supposed, like, you do. You know what I mean? Like, same with He-Man or like
it's
Ninja
different
Turtles.
when you're dealing
Like,
with
it's right there.
human characters as opposed to animal characters. So the turtles automatically market themselves towards kids. Whereas
Sure.
GI Joe, you can do a GI someday they will do a GI Joe movie that's like Army, it's Marines, but it's the characters that we know looking like the characters that we know, and it'll work. They'll do that. But the turtles, I think, is always just going to be cowbunga dude and kid, no matter how edgy and gritty they make it. That the last live action 2 movies or whatever that they did
Yeah.
was extremely gritty and edgy, but it just didn't work. It
It
just
didn't work at all.
you
The
know
second one, I tell you what, the second one, the whole time I was watching it, I'm like, this could work. Like, if the turtles looked like how they're supposed to,
yeah.
the second one might be pretty, like, okay.
Mm.
But that first one's dog shit. And the second one, I'm like,
Those are Michael Bay movies, right?
he produced them, he didn't
Oh,
direct them. But
yeah.
like, that's how I feel about Batman Forever.
Val
Where,
Kilmer?
like, yeah, the Val Kilmer one.
Yeah.
If you take Chris O'Donnell, who's
Yeah.
like 25, 30 years old, it makes no sense that he has to go live with Bruce Wayne. If you change him out for like a 13-year-old, the whole movie works.
Yeah.
And that movie doesn't work. I mean, there's a lot of things that don't work in that movie, but which, by the way, I had this shower thought the other day that like blew my mind, and I was like, and I'm not on Twitter, so I can't fucking I have nowhere to put this. But how crazy is it that Batman Forever is the third one? Okay. And the fourth one is okay. The fourth one is called Batman and Robin.
Right.
Robin comes in the third one. That one should be called Batman Forever. I'm sorry. The third one should be called Batman and Robin, and the fourth one should be called Batman. It's forever.
This is
it's 5 cream before 5 cream. The fourth one, the third movie is called Batman Forever. That's insane.
Oh my god.
How is that not switched?
You just cracked a wormhole in time and space.
What is happening? How is that? How did that happen?
That's awesome, man. They're constantly dropping the ball on names. It's like the Fast 10, your seatbelts. It's like
Fast X.
Yeah. Why didn't you call it Fast 10, your seatbelts? That's good, man. That's good.
I mean, that's nuts. That's crazy. Batman. I don't know if it was going to be the title, but the working title for Batman 3 from Tim Burton, like when Tim Burton was writing it,
right?
It was called Batman Continues.
Oh my god.
What a
That would have been awesome. That would have been so awesome. Batman Returns, Batman Continues. What? Oh my god. Um oh man, I got something spoiled. If you know what I'm talking about, don't say it, but something got spoiled for the new Flash movie, speaking of Batman and Keaton and all that. And I couldn't believe it. And it was from someone who worked on the movie. And
oh, I don't know.
And it was such an amazingly large spoiler. They posted it on their Instagram and said, "Spoilers be damned. This is too big to keep inside, keep quiet."
That's
I was
got
like,
to be fake.
I don't think so. I can't tell you anymore, otherwise it'll ruin it.
I bet I.
Well, there's one thing, like you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But yeah, But talking about Batman Forever, I had a shower thought the other day. I was like, man, Val, you know how there's a scene where it zooms in on Val Kilmer's mouth and he smiles. He's wearing the
yeah.
Val Kilmer would have been an awesome Joker. I think he's got the mouth for it. Perfect mouth for it. I looked at his mouth a lot.
See, I would have thought like Tombstone, maybe like he's got that like long.
He's got his lips, man. He's got these like Joker lips. Yeah, Tombstone too.
I don't know,
but I don't know who Batman would have been.
He's not as like. I mean, there's no other
Jim
role
Carrey?
where he's like the silliest he gets is like what's that movie? Pure Genius that we were talking about.
Oh, Real Genius.
Real Genius, yeah. That's like as like fun as he gets.
Yeah. Life's Too Short. He was pretty fun.
I don't remember him in Life's Too Short.
Where he's
Warwick Davis show?
Yeah, he's walking around trying to get people to do a sequel to Willow. and he shows up dressed as Batman though, and he walks up, he's in like a fancy restaurant. He's like,
I kind of do remember this.
He's like,
yeah.
You know who I am? And nobody knows who he is. Like they're like, Michael Keaton. It's so awesome. It's so good. All right, man. You got any more news?
One little short one that's really fucking cool. I don't know. You're not a big video game guy, are you?
Nope.
All right. Did you ever play Ghostbusters for Genesis?
No.
Okay, that was the first game I ever saw on Genesis. My neighbor had it, and I had regular Nintendo, and I had Ghostbusters for regular Nintendo, which I don't know if you ever played it. It's not great. It's okay. First time I saw Genesis was this Ghostbusters game, which had like the music. It was awesome. The fuck everybody, they looked like you run around as Bill Murray, you look like Bill Murray.
Yeah.
But in the game, you can only play as Ray, Egon, and Peter. And some guy made a physical copy. He basically rewrote the game to put Winston in it and fixed a bunch of little bugs. So you could play as Winston now, and it's re-releasing it and physically you could buy the game.
Really?
For Genesis, yeah, play it in an old system.
That's
wild. He's charging $60, which isn't crazy.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, I thought that was really neat. And I was watching the footage the other day, and it looks exactly how it should. It looks awesome.
Yeah.
So
Winston wasn't in the game.
No, Winston wasn't. He didn't get. He's not on the posters.
Yeah.
He's not. He's not even in Ghostbusters 2. He's not even in. Like it says like, it's got all their names up there, and he's not like it's got Sigourney Weaver and Rick Moranis, and not Ernie Hudson.
Really?
Like he's on the poster for 4.
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, for 2. But yeah,
that's crazy.
Like his name's not credited.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Speaking of Ernie Hudson, I got some what'd you watch this week. I watched The Crow for the first time in probably 15, 20 years.
I think it was Oz or The Basketball Diaries.
No. It's weird. I mean, it's an amazing movie. It still holds up on every level. But and I loved it when it came out. I loved it as a kid. I love The Crow. But I hadn't seen it in a long time. But it's weird watching it 1994. It's weird watching it and Ernie Hudson being in it and being like, watching him not be a Ghostbuster. It was strange. But it was
he's one of those guys though that like when he plays another part like on Oz or on Basketball, I don't see Winston. Like in Ghostbusters, I see Winston immediately. You know
Sure.
what I mean? But because he has a flat top and everything else.
Right.
I
Well,
think that's
Ghostbusters 2, he kind of does.
yeah, but he doesn't have the beard.
That's true.
Like it's I either need him with. It's not even yeah, but yeah, Winston has he's like a Gary Oldman kind of, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
No,
yeah.
no, no. I just, yeah, Winston, he's awesome. Ernie Hudson. But yeah, it's a great movie, Crow. Are you a Crow fan?
You know what? One of my best friends is his favorite movie of all time, and like I got sullied when I was friends with this kid the first time he came over to my house. He's like, "You want to watch The Crow?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And like I watched a lot of rated R movies and shit. Um, but he he put it on in my living room. I didn't know what it was, and he just put it on in my like family living room with like. And like I had a VCR upstairs. We could have watched it upstairs. Like, no, let's watch it here. I'm like, okay. Like, and like I'm watching The Crow, and like my parents like, what the fuck is it? And they didn't care what I watched, but we had an unspoken agreement that it was kind of like, yeah, you want to watch RoboCop or Reservoir Dogs or Howard Stern, watch it in your room. You don't just have it on in the living room.
Oh man, that's
like,
awesome.
And I was like, and there was like sex and nudity and fucking hardcore. And it was like. They were like, "What?" And I was a 10.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It always seemed really dirty and crazy to me. So I've seen it, but I've never been able to like
Lock in.
really. Yeah, yeah.
I've never revisited, man. It's like a very, very unique movie. And Brandon Lee is just, I love watching him. Especially I've watched all his movies, and all his other movies are just like pulpy silliness, action, whatever. But this is just, it's so unique. It's something different. But
yeah, I would watch it. Maybe I'll watch it for next week.
I also watched for the 40th and for the podcast, I watched Return of the Jedi like 5 times, I think. And talk about horror, man. The way they would change, the way the redo movie, the revised editions change that movie. It is horrific.
It gets the worst of the bunch. It gets
it does. And
like
and the original version might be my favorite of the original trilogy, but the special editions, whatever, man, it is just
it's the only one of the 3 I can't watch. Like I could stomach A New Hope. And there's really not that many changes to Empire. I mean, they obviously they keep adding changes, and a lot of the changes in Empire are actually like good changes.
Wampa and there's
like the windows in Cloud City, just adding shit like that. Like but yeah, like but Jedi, man, that dance scene, I saw that in theaters, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
The fuck is it? It's why I still have VCR.
Yeah,
so I could watch Return of the Jedi by itself.
I have the despecialized versions, and I'm sure that I could get them to you somehow. So
I can pirate them whenever I want.
Okay.
But like, man,
it's
and even changing the music, like the Ewok music.
The Ewok music for me is the bigger crime, which is hard to say because that dance thing is ridiculous. But the Ewok one, it's like, it's so meaningful. Everyone knows that song, the original Yub Nub, and like to change that music to a arbitrary minutia styled, just no lyric music takes away from the battle they just won. Plus they changed the visuals, and someone made the point. It was like the battle just ended. You're telling me they heard about the battle just ending all over the galaxy? Like at the same time?
I don't think that's crazy because I mean they blew up the Death Star, and like that would be like if they blew up the Statue of Liberty, or like you'd hear about it.
Sure. But with the music, it's bananas, dude, because that Yub Nub song is so iconic, and it's so like enriching to the finale of the story.
See, and that's what so that one doesn't get me as much because it's like it's weird because as a kid I didn't love Yub Nub, and I remember being bummed at like that's how you end the Star Wars trilogy, is with this weird song, and like but that's the ending I grew up with. Like so that's the ending.
Yeah.
Like I hate that they changed. I mean, we could do a whole hour on the fucking like changing the ghost to young Anakin.
Sure, sure.
I hated I hate what they did with the Sarlacc pit.
I
That
don't mind
really
that. I don't
gets
mind
me.
that because we saw that.
Well,
in your work.
there's a lot of things they changed that bugs me. Like I don't like that they added the beak and like the tentacles. You know, I liked when it was just a hole that was alive.
Yeah.
And like they changed little stuff that like when Han's like aiming at like you know when the thing has Lando and it's pulling him into the pit and he's like a little higher. He's like, I thought you were blind. And like they changed Harrison Ford's line.
Did they?
And Harrison Ford's line used to be like
move your to the left or
no,
something.
No, you know what it was? It was so much better. It's insane. He goes, no, trust me. And he goes, a little higher. And he goes, and that's a way better line than he goes, no, I'm not kidding. I'm not exaggerating. The new line is, no, I can see a lot better now. And it's 80 yard and it looks like shit. And it's like, what? Why would you change? Why would you change it? Trust me, so much better.
Yeah.
On every level.
Yeah. That's ridiculous.
No, I can see a lot better now.
Yeah.
What?
It sucks. But it's an awesome movie regardless. I mean, I just watched the originals that I have, but the other one, I don't think we talked about this last week, maybe not, but I think I know I mentioned on the Star Wars podcast, but Ray Stevenson died.
Yeah, we didn't talk about this.
I don't think we talked about it. And
yeah, it's a bummer, man.
Yeah, he was awesome, just an awesome actor, and he was young. He was 58. Yeah. He's going to be in Ahsoka series, so that'll be his last thing. But I rewatched Punisher Warzone, and man, you talk about like horrific kills. The movie is mostly garbage as a movie, but he is awesome in it. I would argue he's the best Punisher, like closest to the comics at least.
Sure.
I really like him as the Punisher, the way he walks, what he looks like, how he talks, everything. He's got awesome weapons and the kills, man. There are so many exploding heads in that thing that they just like make sure to show you. And there's even one, you remember the parkour guys?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Didn't he kill him with a rocket launcher?
He shoots one with a rocket launcher, shoots one through the head. The third guy, he maims he shoots him in the legs, the black guy with the dreads, and then questions him, then throws him off a building and he lands on these, like, he gets impaled on these spikes. And as he's sitting there dying, Punisher jumps and lands on his head, so cracks his neck backwards and like elongates his neck. Like it's like brutal, man.
I always really liked Warzone because it was such I like the Thomas Jane one.
Yeah,
but it just felt like it barely was. Like, was it PG-13? Like I didn't like that he made like friends with his neighbors.
Yeah,
and like they kind of made it like
it had a little too much charm.
It was a little clean. It was too clean for the pun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think they went way too far in the other direction for Warzone. But
Warzone would be a better, and Jigsaw in that is good, but also
he's taken a lot of he's
a little over the top, but
a little.
But like I don't like his brother, some of the cast, and then the music is really bad. It's like it's like
new metal, right?
Yeah,
like,
new metal, early 2000. But he's awesome. Doesn't take away from his performance. And he was awesome in Dexter. I
didn't see him in Dexter.
Oh man, he was like this Russian gangster, and he was just badass.
Man, I got on him with Rome, the HBO show Rome.
I haven't seen that. I need to watch that.
I watched it when it was new. It was like my favorite show ever. It was fucking incredible. And at the time when it was coming out, like I was watching it week to week, and he was like the standout. Like, everybody on that show is very good.
Is he the main character?
There is no main character. It's like a Game of Thrones type deal where there's like 20 characters.
Yeah.
But he's one of the prominent ones, and he is awesome on that show. He so much so that I'd never heard of him before, and
Right.
he was one of the main ones that stuck out.
That's cool. Now I gotta check that show out. He played Volstagg in Thor movies.
Yeah, he was kind of wasted, to be
Yeah, he
honest.
was.
Like they
He was.
never really did the Warriors 3,
Right.
right? And then when they just offed him,
Yeah.
like
Yeah. But he was
yeah.
just a cool actor, man. He was one of those like rare, like seasoned older actors that you've seen before. You don't, maybe you can't name what he's been in, but like he's just a cool
It was
actor.
awesome. Yeah,
And he was at Star Wars Celebration this last couple months ago, and like was super enthusiastic, really excited about being a part of it. And I can't wait to see him. But that's crazy that he passed.
yeah. I mean, it sucks. It was always like cool to see him in
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Rest in peace. Um. Okay, that's all I got. Do you ever what'd you watch?
Not really. I've been watching a lot of real Ghostbusters. I watched almost all of I Think You Should Leave last night.
Okay.
New season dropped, but
Someone else told me about that. I tried it. I couldn't do it.
I think you wouldn't like it.
It didn't do anything for me. Yeah.
It's a very I don't know. I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah.
I think there's one sketch I could send you that I think you would really, really like.
They sent me like a sketch and that they thought was hilarious, and I was like, "This is the dumbest shit I've ever seen."
Did it have Santa Claus in it?
No, it was like two guys singing to somebody else. I don't know what it was.
I'm gonna send you something with Santa Claus in it that like
right.
you might not like, but
Yeah.
I thought was pretty fucking great.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll watch it. All right, man. Here we go. You ready? Jack Frost 2, Revenge of the Mutant Killer Snowman.
Yep.
Year in the year 2000.
Mm-hmm.
They decided to make this movie. Wow, what a pile of shit, man. This movie made me want to watch the first one. This movie made me wish we were watching Queen of the Dam. This movie, you remember last week when we watched Ice Cream Man and you were like, "Hey, this is rough. If you want to do something else." I was like, dude, I hope that you like, what I was saying? Like, that's what we do for this podcast. This is not. this movie is such trash. It's such trash. All right.
I liked it better. I liked
it
better than Ice Cream Man. I liked it
really
better than yeah.
Why? I need to know why.
It wasn't good.
I could
guess.
Does
it makes the first one look like a masterpiece.
Yeah, absolutely.
It really does. And you hated the first one.
Yeah, absolutely. This movie, so this was shot on video, right? Which that's fine. You can make a cool movie shot.
Well, what's really funny is, so I listened to the commentary on it too. And what's really funny is they shot it on video, and apparently they like Sony ran it through, like Sony went to them and said, "Hey, we're going to run it through this filter that we have that's going to make it look better. So it looks more like it was shot on film."
Okay.
And
they did it, and it still
is. In the commentary they talk about I'm so glad we did that because it looks so much better. And like, how much worse could it have looked? It looks terrible. It looks like it was shot with an iPhone. You can't even say it looks like it was shot with an iPhone, because like
iPhone stuff sometimes looks awesome.
Yeah, there's movies that have been shot with iPhones that are like amazing.
This is like a glorified hour and a half long episode of Saved by the Bell, only rated R, is what I felt.
Well, there's a
lot.
Which I
love Saved by the Bell, but you remember when they went to the beach, Saved by the Bell?
Yeah.
That's what this is. I was like, where's Zach? Like, that's exactly what this is.
Well, what's kind of funny is they went to a tropical location. I don't think it was an island, but they went somewhere to shoot it. The commentary is something else, man.
Really?
Because the guy that wrote and directed it is this like really British, really like kind of like, I don't know. Like there's parts where he's like, I wanted to reflect, what war was like. Like he's taking it pretty seriously, but he's also being like, no, we had fun. Like, let's not joke around about it. Like he knows what it is, but he's also like,
does he though? I mean, I watched some of the behind the scenes too that you put up there.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I think I watched all of it except for the entire. I didn't watch the entire interview of McDonald, the voice guy,
Yeah.
because he stops talking about this movie at some point. But I felt like the director was like, I couldn't tell if he knew because he did Jack Frost 1, and Jack Frost 1 is at least like a cult following, reputable,
Sure.
you know, D level horror movie. This though is like they had nothing. They must have had nothing. I mean,
They did,
that's
and
that said though, some of the gore is decent. It's decent.
yeah, I mean, for what it was, and what's funny is, yeah, they went to a tropical place to shoot, and it rained the entire time, and they shot the whole movie in tents. Like they're not outside almost at all. Like when they are, they're lighting it like they're outside, but they're all intense.
Okay.
The whole movie, it's wild.
It's insane the like watching some of the behind the scenes stuff and like there was like the music video that they called it or something like that.
I didn't watch all the behind the scenes
Jesus
stuff.
Christ, man. Like they're like it's like the cast, having fun on the set, singing stuff. Like they are the most insane maniacs on the face of the earth. Like it was just insane. Like but the movie itself, like it just Jack Frost, like the first 2/3 of the movie, he's just everywhere. He's all water and he's in a tropical climate. And it's like, how is any of this? Did anybody think this through? It's just, I don't know.
Here's the thing. I was thinking about this earlier. Anytime that like a franchise goes tropical, like they go like a horror franchise, like, oh, and now they're on like a resort. It never works. At least in sequels. Like I like Club Dread, but that's not everybody agrees with me on that. But like
Never seen.
they do it in I Know What You Did Last Summer too. It takes place like
Really?
on like a resort like this. What's the other one? There's a few where they go to a resort and
But that's fine for those. We're talking about a serial killer
oh,
who
I was
is a
thinking it's Jaws
snowman,
4.
who's a
All right.
snowman.
Yeah. Like that's the thing. Like
Why are we in a tropical place?
when you change the setting, it should be like, oh, it's for like when you do whatever, you just scream and you're like, this one's in the city. It's like, oh, that's interesting because that's seemingly to the killer's advantage.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like that's what changing the setting should raise this. You know what I mean? It should have been in Antarctica or something like where you can't. Or I guess there was snow in the first one, but
put it in anywhere. They moved to Canada or they moved to Minnesota, and it's snowing. But to go to a tropical climate, I was like, I don't know, man. There's just what? And then in order to make the film work, he basically was like an elemental almost.
Well, he did it in the first one. Like he had all the same powers as
right, but it was a cold setting. So like for this, like the two guys in the raft, and like all of a sudden they're getting stabbed by ice, and I'm like, what's happening here?
I think he could freeze himself, and I think he could turn to ice.
He does say in one point that he's like a brand new super powered something, like he's got new powers or something.
When they try and kill him the old way.
Yeah. So what happened in the beginning, the way was it, the guy's cleaning in that office?
Yeah.
Like he knocks, like it looked like he knocked a cup of coffee into the green
phone? Yeah, or whatever.
The antifreeze, but it was a party and people were drinking the antifreeze. So it was like it wasn't real antifreeze.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about the therapist scene.
No, not that far beginning. That was just ridiculous. But there's a party and like an office party, and there's a big aquarium full of green juice, and I guess coffee gets knocked into it, and then it like goes and freezes, and then that's actually a pretty cool kill where the glass goes and slices the guy in the mouth, like in his head in half. But I didn't understand. Like I guess it was coffee mixed with the antifreeze released him or recreated him somehow. It was weird.
None of it's clear. Like in the beginning, like they bribe the one guy from the first movie um, to tell him like, hey, where he's buried, but you don't know who the guy is that's trying to track him down, and then they just show a montage, of a bunch of scientists,
Right.
just making like like it was like a just such a like whatever, he's
Right.
back.
Right.
It was, but it was like them don't even bother putting this much thought into it,
Yeah.
But
There were two. I got like a two laughs out of the whole thing. And one was when they reintroduced, I guess, I don't remember him for the first, but the FBI agent with the eye patch.
yeah, I got thoughts on this. This is,
But he's like, they call him this. They at first they call him the scary guy, and like, be quiet, the scary guy might hear you. And then he like just appears, and he's like, the scary dude's already here. I laugh.
yeah,
And then also when they go, and then in the same scene, the guy goes, like, it's like Agent Julian, and he's like, or it's like FBI, it's like Julian from the FBI, and then the main,
it's not Majors, it's Manners, it's Agent Manners is the guy's
yeah. So
name.
then the main guy, the sheriff, goes, wait, Agent Manners? Like he didn't recognize him without the word agent in front of it. I was like, the dude's standing in front of you and you didn't recognize him until someone said he was an agent. You spent like the whole first movie like with him fighting Jack Frost. It was the dumbest shit ever.
Well, hang on, let me explain
Go
why that kind of makes sense, but also doesn't make any sense at all. Okay. Just from like okay, man, you're working on a movie, you're writing your script, right? And you want to put the secret agent from the first movie in this movie, but there's no reason for him to be on this island, right?
Right.
So coincidence, it's an awful stretch, but whatever.
Right.
Okay, so I'm gonna say he happens to be security at this random island that the people from the first movie are also vacationing at. Like,
right.
that's a big stretch, right? Okay, fine. Then you contact the actor from the first movie,
Yep.
and he says, I can't do it because I'm doing another movie. Because they recast this part.
The agent guy is
So
recast?
the agent is recast
Okay.
from the first movie. It's a different actor.
Okay.
Which explains why he doesn't recognize him, and he has that thing about this. Look what he did to my face.
Sure.
Like,
Sure.
I had reproductive surgery or reconstructive surgery, so I look like a different person. But like, you're already stretched. So why not just make that a new character?
Right.
Like, why?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you just say, okay, well, there's a security guard on the island now? Like, it's instead of why still make it that guy?
Right.
It's not even the same act. It'd be one thing if you wanted to bring the actor over, but you don't have that act. It's fucking insane.
Right. No, I didn't realize that he was a different actor. That adds so much. I almost like that they said I had reconstructive surgery and that's why you don't recognize me. So that I kind of like that, but not enough to like give it any kind of like street cred as a movie.
I always hate that. They've done it in a few, like they do it in Sin City, where it's like,
oh yeah,
I had reconstructive surgery and I look like a different person. Like,
totally.
That's not what reconstructive surgery looks like. You know what
I mean? Wasn't that Josh Brolin or who?
The first one.
At first, it was the British dude, Clive Owen.
It's Clive Owen,
and then he's recast as Josh Brolin, right?
Yeah, but in the comics, he does have a different face. He does look different. So I mean, I guess it works, but
yeah,
that's weird. Second Sin City was a real piece of shit.
I don't remember it. I did. Let's see. There was another line I kind of liked. It was like the model, the photo shoot with the model on the beach and the Asian guy and it's like, he's like, he's like, give me this, give me that. He's like, you're so hot, you're sweating. And I was like, so hot, you're sweating. Isn't that just kind of like par for the course? Like when you're hot, you sweat. But that was actually, I love that scene. If there's a scene that I would say, at least watch this scene, it's the way it was cut. She's like, he's like, okay, let's go. And he starts taking pictures and she just turns her head and her head explodes.
Yeah.
Because she'd been drinking him.
Oh yeah. Well, at first,
Jack Frost.
Yeah, they at first like the guy says, "Oh, your nipples aren't hard enough, so
Yeah,
take some ice and put them in." And like Jack is the ice, so you see it from his perspective, and he's like all giddy and everything.
yeah.
And then she, makes herself a cocktail with the ice, and her fucking head blows up. It was, you
Were
know,
there were did you have a kill in this movie that you were like, that's pretty dope?
yeah, uh the like the tongs, like the burger tongs
Tongs in the eyes?
in the eyes.
That was
I
good.
mean, even though you don't see it go in, I was like, that's that's not bad. Um,
I like that they killed those three chicks like right off the bat.
right away, yeah, you thought one of them was going to survive. They were just basically in the movie to get like they were in one scene,
Yeah,
literally just being like, "Yep, we're here,"
yeah.
and then next scene, they're all three of them get murdered.
Just idiots.
Yeah,
Uh, and then I don't know. There, like that's what I was talking about though. That tong scene, the head exploding, the anvil crushing the chick.
that anvil, I was like, "Oh, this is going to be a rough."
Yeah,
As soon
that
as I
was
saw that
dumb.
anvil,
But at
well,
least
just
the gore was there, you know?
yeah, but the CGI sucks in this
Yeah.
movie,
Oh, big time.
and there's a ton of it, and it's just like, the anvil. I laughed out loud at the anvil because it was just so bad.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Um, did they I don't know. I took way too many notes on this fucking movie. But like the other thing, I guess the last two things that stood out were I don't know if it was like an homage to Critters or Gremlins, which one weighed in more when with all the miniature baby
yeah, yeah.
snowball creatures.
It was a Critters ripoff. That's
Yeah.
exactly what it was.
Yeah. But there were elements of Gremlins in there, I think. But I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, I mean they were like getting drunk and stuff.
And then seeing the, when the agent goes into the shed and they're just like everywhere, watching the you didn't see the behind the scenes on that.
No.
He like they're setting him up, they're putting all the like snowball things on him, and you can tell in the movie he holds one or something, and you can see the seam on
Yeah.
the
Oh
styrofoam
yeah.
ball.
Yeah. It's
like,
a
man,
styrofoam ball.
they didn't make any effort, whatever. But the behind the scenes, he's covered in them, and the director's like, okay, do this, do that, scream like this, and then he does it, and you could tell the actor's just like, there's a couple times he's like, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah.
And then the other thing was just the banana jizz like everywhere. Was insane, especially when with the final kill, he shoots it with the banana arrow,
Yeah.
and at that point, he's like encased and killed the wife, basically killed her in like in himself, like.
Yeah.
And then he explodes and he melts, and the husband is like sifting through maybe 2 inches of
Yeah.
melted
Marshmallows.
calling out for his wife.
Yeah.
Like it's 2 inches. It's 2 inches. And then he ends up finding her, pulling her out.
Yeah.
I was just like, dude, what?
During the commentary, the director's like, no, so he's digging, he's looking. So clearly she wasn't there for this shot. Like
Right.
it's no shit. Like,
Yeah.
it's there's nothing there, man. But you know what really it really bugged me about this movie were the characters that were supposed to be funny were just the most unfunny fuck yeah, they were the worst. The Captain Fun guy, and then I didn't remember her from the first one, but the woman from the first one who was just like all slapsticky.
Yeah.
Just,
she was annoying as hell.
Oh, she was annoying, and nothing's worse than someone trying to be funny that isn't funny, and it was just
especially the Captain Fun guy.
Yeah, that was I felt a sense of relief when he died, when they put the thing in his face. I was like, oh, fuck, all right, good. This guy's fucking.
But that wasn't until the end. It was like
towards the, I did like at the end that he goes on basically kills off all the rest of the minor characters.
Right.
Like
that was fine. Especially I've never seen a more literal token black guy. And like that dude, man, Jesus Christ, with his bullshit accent,
the Jamaican
like his
accent.
clearly bullshit accent. And then to make it even worse, he's like best friends or like palling around with this old white guy throughout the whole movie who's calling him boy.
I didn't notice that.
He's constantly saying boy to this black guy, and I'm like treating him like his slave. I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, There's no humor in
Um,
that. I don't know.
he the old guy, the colonel,
Yeah.
was the director's father.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he said he
Wow.
saw him play a colonel when he was a little kid and was like, "Hey, you want to be in a movie?" And just
Jeez.
cast him. You know,
That's
I thought
awesome.
I thought when they killed him, it was cool. They had three separate shots. It was like like they had a CGI shot of the fucking this icicle going in his head, and
Yeah.
then they had a fake head, and then they had another shot. Like it was, there were some things where I was like, oh, cool, they're putting some effort in, and there was other things where it's like that's a styrofoam ball.
Yeah.
You just jammed a fucking M80 in a styrofoam ball.
Yeah, totally. Um, yeah, his kill, I guess it was all right. The black guy just got his throat slit. Uh,
Yeah,
and then like the ending, there were two, oh yeah, yeah. There were two post like credit ending things. Did you watch both of them?
yeah, I did.
So the first one with like the ridiculous, I see the humor they were going for with the Asian overdub homage to sort of
The
like
Godzilla.
Godzilla movies and stuff like that. And then the giant carrot, the whole kaiju thing. But man, that was just like a little rough. But yeah, I guess this is 23 years ago, so whatever. And then the second one, the people locked in the freezer and they're like, "Hey, let us out." And then they stop talking and the camera just sits on the door for a
Well,
solid 30 seconds with nobody, no sound whatsoever.
yeah, I'm pretty sure that wasn't even an actual. That was a still. That I don't even think that was a frame of film. I think it was a photo because like then it zooms in and
Yeah.
like you see like the what do you call it? Like you see it's a digital photo and you see like the
Yeah.
like it looks like shit like when you zoom in on
Yeah.
a digital like file. It
But
was
it's
like
just dead silent. It's like, what are we doing here? Like, what is,
yeah, it's one thing to be like, "Hey, we're still in here," and then that's the joke, and then they just
and then it
keep
just,
zooming in.
like, that's how you're ending your movie. That's
It's
crazy.
so weird.
In the interview with whatever his name is, McDonald, who that guy, I don't know. I guess I recognize him.
The
Maybe not.
main guy or the
The voice of Jack
oh
Frost.
yeah. Right, right.
He, he's been in stuff, but he's never been like a lead in anything. But he said some shit, man, that I was like, he said that they had a third movie they were going to do where Jack Frost was a kaiju. He was giant, like that
Well,
carrot.
that was the thing. The first time I saw the like giant carrot thing, I was like,
Yeah.
wait, because it was clearly a model
Yeah.
ship.
Yeah.
And then,
They literally just dropped a
but when they dropped
carrot into
dropped the
water. It was
carrot,
just like,
I was like, wait, what?
but
I didn't get it, and then I was like, oh, he's big. Like the second time when I watched it with the commentary, I was like, oh, okay, he's like a giant.
what did they say about that? Anything?
Director's like, I thought this would be fun. Who knows if we do a third
Really?
one, maybe we'll do this, but
What an
whatever.
idiot. Well, he said that they had a third one, they were ready to go, and then the sheriff guy died in
Yeah, in real life.
2008, I think.
Yeah,
The other thing he said was he was talking about that this is the voice of Jack Frost. His name's Scott McDonald.
yeah.
So there's this like 30-minute interview of him with some schmuck, and they're like, he's like talking about some stuff that he's done, and that when he signed on to do Jack Frost, his friends were like, "Really? You're gonna do that?" Like as if it was like shameful. And he goes, his response to people who said that was, "Well, hey, even Steve McQueen did the Blob," and I'm like, "Motherfucker, you are so
The
far from Steve McQueen."
or the Blob.
Also, The Blob is an awesome movie. So what the hell is that? I don't know. That was
Yeah,
that
right.
was ballsy. That was ballsy. um,
Wait,
yeah,
who was Dave in this movie? Do you remember a character named Dave?
no.
Because
Why?
Doug Jones is apparently in this movie.
Oh, I thought that was Doug Jones, the guy in the raft.
Oh yeah. Oh, that
That was
rap
Doug
scene.
Jones. Yeah, that rap scene
Listen to
was
this.
insane.
So they shot that. I don't know if you caught that they weren't actually stuck at sea because you could see the beach in the fucking background.
Oh yeah,
But yeah, they were like 30 feet off off the real beach.
that's awesome.
And so that scene, they had a bunch of like PAs or whatever, in the water, like shaking the raft, you know,
Yeah.
and that's how they got that effect. But because of that, uh, it didn't pick up the audio from the two guys, so they had to ADR the whole thing.
That makes
And then,
sense.
and then one of the actors couldn't, like, he was busy. It was probably Doug Jones.
Yeah.
Was like, nah, man, I'm doing another movie.
Yeah.
And so it was a different actor had to come in. That whole scene, I was like, is this a different language? Like
Yeah.
it was like Rumble in the Bronx,
Yeah.
where everybody's ADR'd, but at least it makes sense why everybody's ADR'd in that movie.
I put it in my notes. I was like, this whole movie's 80 yard.
Yeah,
Like
I thought that too.
it was so weird. Everybody was detached. That's weird. I was looking at the guy. I'm like, dude, that looks like Doug Jones. But why would he be doing this in the year 2000? Because by that point, he was doing, like, when did the Hellboy movies come out? Those were,
No, that was a couple years after this, but he
yeah,
had done
but he had
no.
still
This is
done
like
all kinds of stuff.
he did Hocus Pocus and
Yeah,
what else? I'm pretty sure it was Slim Pickens in 2000
really?
for him. Yeah, I'm gonna pull it up right now.
Because he does all kinds of. I mean, when you look at his career,
Well, he does everything. He does voice work. He does,
stuff, but physical stuff that you're like, wow. I don't know if you remember, his first role was as Mac the Knife, in the McDonald's commercials. Remember the moon
Oh
guy?
yeah, that was him.
That was him. Not his voice, but that was him playing it in the suit.
I see Mac the Knife all the time, like on the like if you remember this, you're fucking 40 years old.
Yeah.
You know what I
Sure.
mean?
Those commercials were awesome.
Before this, he was in Tales from the Crypt. He's in a lot of like background characters, man. Like he was in Tank Girl. Uh he's in Mimic before this.
Was he one of the creatures, you think?
He plays Long John. I haven't seen Mimic since I saw it in theaters, but I haven't seen it since then.
Okay.
It's funny. Like 5 of his roles are contortionist number 2 or contortionist number
Really?
1. Yeah,
Huh.
he played a waiter on Kenan and Kel. He was in Mystery Men.
Yeah.
He played a dead Iraqi soldier in Three Kings.
Wow. What year was
Yeah,
Three Kings? Does it say?
99. That was a year before this.
Huh.
He's in Rocky and Bullwinkle. Yeah,
It's
he really wasn't.
still, man, to take this, it's like, yeah, we're shooting this thing with my camcorder. Do you want to be
I don't know.
what?
His movie after this was Monkey Bone.
With
Eh, Brendan Fraser.
Brendan Fraser. Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't really start popping until like he's in Men in Black 2. And he's
Hellboy
in
was his big one.
Hellboy's 5 years after this though.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
The remake, whatever the remake of REC was, I forget what that was called. Oh, Quarantine. Did you ever see Quarantine?
no, maybe I did. Yeah, yeah. Is that the one that's all like
The remake
security
of
cameras?
REC. Yeah. Well, remake of REC.
Wait, is Quarantine a remake of REC?
Yeah, it's an American version of it. Really good with Jennifer Carpenter.
Oh wait, I'm thinking of VHS. I'm thinking of VHS.
Yeah. Jennifer Carpenter from Dexter.
Mhm.
And Doug Jones plays like this zombie at the end. It's like terrifying.
Yeah. Okay, I see him now. Yeah, he's in that. Yeah.
Um,
He's the man. He was. It's a shit.
great.
He's in new Star Trek, which is like really bad, but he's. I mean, he looks awesome. He plays an alien.
Of course. I don't know, man. This movie is rough. You got something else you want to say? Why did you like it?
I didn't the first time.
How many times did you watch it?
Twice. I watched it once by myself and then once with a commentary. But like the first time I was like, especially from that raft scene, I was like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Like it was like I could have made this and fucking,
Yeah.
And then it was that. The second time listening to the commentary, I came around to it, but like I don't know, maybe it's just we watched like 3 movies in a row where there's like off-screen kills, and I just was like, all right, there's blood in this.
Yeah.
There's like, they're having at the very least, like if you're gonna make your villain, a snowman, like
Yeah.
I like that he has snowman themed kills. He drop, when he's like he turns that pool into ice and
Right.
I don't know.
I don't know. I just, again, no expectations for this movie whatsoever, but
It was bad. It was
real bad in the sense that, like, I talked about it last week. Just like we started this podcast to watch, I would say cheesy 80s horror movies, stuff like that. That's on VHS, whatever. This is like when you're scraping the bottom of the barrel, and it's just did me wrong. Gave me gas. That's all.
This is wild. So I was looking up what this writer, what movie he did right after that? Like the writer / director.
Yeah. What did he do?
He wrote Identity with Cusack.
Cusack, really?
Yeah, and James Mangold directed that.
That's bananas. Hey, go get that guy that did Jack Frost 2. Are you serious?
This is like the next movie. Yeah, he finishes this. He didn't do anything for 2 years, and then he wrote Identity, and yeah, James Mangold directed it.
Has he written other stuff that's like?
Yeah, he wrote a movie called The Six Souls.
Yeah, nothing.
He had a TV show called Runner, another TV. She's had 3 TV shows.
Okay,
but he's only directed 3 things.
Hey, good for him. Rest in peace.
He's still around. He's still alive.
Oh, he is. Okay.
I believe so. Yeah.
What else you want to say about this?
I wouldn't recommend it to anybody, but it's not the worst movie we've ever done by far.
You don't think this is the worst movie we've ever talked about?
No. I think we've had worse. We've definitely done worse.
What comes to mind as the worst?
Children don't play with dead things.
Get the fuck out of here. You serious?
Dude, there probably is worse.
You can't acknowledge that that's a good, like, I know your gripe is that it's the zombies don't come out.
Nothing happens.
Act 3. But maybe it's because I grew up with it. I don't know. Quality wise, though, it's far superior.
What about what's the other one that was
Queen of the Damned is just like one of those movies where it's like it's more of
I would rather watch this than Queen of the Damned.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I would rather watch this than what was that? There's another.
Yeah,
we've watched some real stinkers on here, man. Like
one dark night or no?
I liked One Dark Night. In hindsight, I was like,
really?
This
okay,
that bad.
cool.
Yeah.
I have a very, very low tolerance for movies that look like this, like the cheap video.
I wonder. That's the other thing. Like watching this, I wonder how much of it is like, all right, if you had a good camera and a budget, is this as good as the first one? Like
as good as the first one.
Like the first one is like passable. You know what I mean? Like
it is.
It's fine. It looks like a movie at least.
I think if I went back and watched the first one now after seeing this, and being the expectation with the first one was the VHS cover, how much that throws you off.
Yeah.
If I were to go see that one now after having just watched this, I bet I'd appreciate it more. Especially Shannon Elizabeth.
It really does make it seem like it's like a masterpiece, like comparatively, like and they brought back most of the cast, most of the surviving cast.
True, but they had to have known like what kind of quality movie they were getting into. It's like compared to the first, it's crazy.
Yeah, they were probably like, like, hey, like they probably didn't know. With the first one, they were probably thinking, "Oh, we're making whatever," But
yeah,
with this one, I don't know. The last one was a surprise hit. I don't think any of them expected it to be, what it was.
Well, on VHS it was, yeah. All right, man. Jack Frost 2: Revenge of the Mutant Killer Snowman in the books. Glad we did it. Not really, but so next week you got K.
Yeah, I got K.
All right, man.
So there's you got three choices. I got 3. Okay, 2 of which I've never seen.
All right.
But have good reputations. One is The Keep. I've never seen The Keep. Number 2 is a movie called The King of Ants.
Ooh.
Directed by Stuart Gordon. It has very good reviews. I don't. It had it in researching it. It might be more of a thriller. I don't know, but the cover looks pretty hardcore.
Do you know what year it is?
Yeah, it's like 2000 something. It
Okay. King of the
it
Ants.
qualifies.
Okay.
Um, the other one is not horror, but I think
All right.
you might bite on this.
What is it?
I was thinking about doing Krull.
Oh, Kroll,
What do you think?
Kroll could work just because
I,
it's your
I
last
mean
name.
it. Yeah. It's not exactly. King of the Ants is 2003.
Okay.
Again, it's directed by Stuart Gordon.
Why do
It's
I
got
know?
pretty good. He directed Reanimator.
Oh, snap. Okay. Okay.
It's got George Wendt in it. Daniel Baldwin.
Oh
But
man.
I don't know. I don't know.
That's a tough
But
call, dude. That is a tough call. All right. So The Keep, I've seen it. It's excellent. I it's like it's one of those movies. It's a Michael Mann, early Michael Mann
oh, it's
movie.
Michael Mann.
Yeah. It's got the Tangerine Dream does the soundtrack, so it's like one of those movies that has like a rock band doing the soundtrack. It's insane. It's got young Scott Glenn
Yeah, Scott Glenn,
and
Ian
yep,
McKellen.
Ian McKellen. It's got a bunch of dudes that you'd recognize.
There's like a serious movie then.
It's a serious movie, and it's like it's definitely it's not like it's not like it's slower. It's definitely slower and it's more methodical, and the horror elements are akin to the end of Lost Ark, Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah, I'm reading the synopsis. Nazis are forced to turn to a Jewish historian for help in battling the ancient demon they have inadvertently freed from its prison. I always associate this movie with The Pit.
Okay.
I don't know why, which is not that.
Yeah. No, it's not.
The Pit is a movie about a little about a kid who throws people into a pit.
Yeah, I know. I know. I recently saw the poster for that, and I was like, "Oh, what's that? I need to watch."
Yeah,
that.
this one seems kind of heavy.
It's heavy. It's definitely got like social themes and stuff like that. Like but it's right in our wheelhouse. It's just very it's a movie. Like it's a film.
This is a real movie. Yeah.
I guarantee Siskel and Ebert talked about this and probably liked it. All right, so there's that. Crawl's a bunch of fun. I mean,
I haven't seen it in a while.
it's a great movie. It's got like a good villain or a creepy villain, and
I have little theories about it and
Yeah.
about like not the movie itself, but like just things that would have made the movie better and stuff like that.
right.
So
King of the
King of the
Ants.
Ants. If you want to look up King of the Ants,
I'm looking at the V8 or the poster. I don't know. I didn't read any. What's it about? Did you get a? I mean, it looks bananas.
Did you see the cover where it's like the guy with no face?
Yeah.
See, the cover it kind of promises a movie that isn't. I don't know. It seems like it's another one where it's like a real movie, but it's.
I'm looking at the back of the VHS where it shows like pictures of stuff and whatever. For some reason, out of the three, and probably because I've seen the other two, I'm drawn to this one because of Stuart Gordon and knowing Reanimator, From Beyond. Like those are like some of the best stuff.
Society.
Know? Stuart Gordon did Society.
Yeah.
Fuck that movie, man. I hate that movie so much.
Actually,
it's just so gross. It's just so
I think he just wrote it. I think Brian Usna directed it.
Okay.
But
I mean, I appreciate it for what it is, but I can't watch that movie again. You pick, man. It's your thing. I like King. I like them all, but King of the Ants, I haven't seen. You haven't seen, so I'm kind of leaning that way.
Yeah, Stuart Gordon didn't. By the way, Stuart Gordon didn't work on Society. I almost said that to like trip you up. Did work on Honey, I Shrunk the Kids as a TV show though.
Oh, really?
And Honey, actually, all the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids movies.
Really?
Worked on.
I'm curious what he was doing. Like everything I know of his is 80s stuff. So this
is what him and Brian Yuzna wrote Honey, I Shrunk the Kids 1. They did Reanimator, From Beyond, and then Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
That's weird. That is bizarre, man. That is bizarre.
That's insane.
I think that means that he's at least like human. I don't know.
But I mean, it's the same two guys. It's the two guys that did Reanimator and From Beyond.
It's nuts. All right, man. You pick. I'm good with it.
Let's do Kroll. I haven't watched it in a while.
Okay.
I mean, it doesn't really. It's not. You know, it's right.
It's it's fantasy. It's not horror, but it's got horror elements. I mean, it's fantasy.
I haven't watched it in a while, and it'll be fun, man.
Yeah. That's fine. At some point, I want to see King of the Ants, though, just to see what.
By all means, man.
What Stuart Gordon was doing in the 2000s. All right, next week, Crawl for letter K. We're also going to do a What'd You Watch of Gremlins 2.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Just like because we're watching on Patreon, we're watching Gremlins Secret of the Mogwai. If you're interested in that for BoobTube TV, our other podcast, that is on patreon.com/deathbypodcast, where you can find BoobTube TV and support the show. That's the best way to support the show. You can find us on social media, Instagram at Death by Podcast, Twitter at Death by Podcast. What else? Kevin, the other Kevin Kroll.
Yeah, on Instagram.
And on Instagram, and he's got his Kroll symbol. The what's it called? What's the thing called?
The glaive.
Glaive. We'll talk about that next week with Kroll. I'm looking forward to that. It's a great movie. Very 80s. Maybe Liam Neeson's first movie. I
think it is.
Yeah. He was on an episode of Miami Vice the other night that I was watching. Very young, but that was like 1986, I think. Yeah. Let's do that.
Kroll is 83.
Kroll, yeah, I knew that was earlier. All right. Sounds good. You're good? Are you satisfied?
Yeah, I'm good. All
right, man. Thanks for listening, folks. Check us out at our home on podbean.com/deathbypodcast as well. And we are everywhere else that you get your podcasts from, like everywhere else. We're everywhere. Come see us if you're in town. Killer Clowns. We'll talk about it more as it approaches. And if you're around Friday to see the show at Toy du Jour, I'll be out there hanging out as well. That's all I got. I'm your host, Adam. It's your other host,
Kevin.
Oh. It's Miller time. Kevin, take it away.
Shut the fuck up.
Good stuff. Yeah, you heard him. Folks, thanks for listening. Thanks for being here. We will see you on the next show.
Shut the fuck up.
You're just like Baby Yoda with his yes.
Shut the fuck up.